What if I told you your prostate is like a small sponge quietly swelling with water? Not enough to cause alarm at first, but slowly, silently, pressing on everything around it. One day you realize you can't sleep through the night without getting up 2, 3, even 4 times to go to the bathroom. You notice the flow is weaker. You stand there, waiting, feeling that strange heaviness. You tell yourself it's just age, but deep down you wonder if something more serious is happening. I want you to picture this. It's 2:37 in the morning. You're standing in a cold, dim bathroom again. You crawl back into bed, but sleep is broken. The next day you feel tired, irritable, less focused. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and the cycle doesn't stop. This is how many men over 60 live without even realizing their prostate is crying out for help. I met a man named Thomas, 64 years old. He thought nighttime urination was just part of getting older. He avoided talking to his doctor. He avoided telling his wife how frustrated he really felt. But what happened next changed his life in less than a month, and it had nothing to do with pills, surgery, or expensive treatments. The truth is, there are specific foods, backed by real science, that can calm an enlarged prostate and help restore comfort, sleep, and confidence, often in just a few weeks. In this video, I'll show you exactly what they are, how to use them, and why they work, so you can finally take back the part of life you thought you'd lost forever. My name is Dr. Lily Anderson. I'm a board-certified urologist and nutrition specialist, and for the past 25 years, I've worked with thousands of men facing exactly what you may be facing right now. I've seen the frustration in their eyes, the embarrassment they try to hide, and the relief that comes when they finally realize there are safe, natural options that truly work. My approach is simple, but different from what most men are told. I don't believe in masking symptoms with quick fixes that wear off. I believe in giving your body the right tools through specific foods and habits so it can start healing itself from the inside out. Over my career, I've helped men from 60 to 85 regain peaceful sleep, restore normal bathroom routines, and even rebuild the energy and confidence they thought were gone for good. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact foods I've seen make the biggest difference for an enlarged prostate. You'll understand why they work, how to use them in your daily life, and what kind of results you can expect. These aren't exotic, hard-to-find ingredients. They're foods you can pick up at your local market, prepare in minutes, and enjoy every single day. By the time we finish, you'll know how to take the first step toward a calmer prostate, a stronger body, and a better night's sleep, without fear, without pressure, and without feeling alone. Let's begin with the first food, one of the most researched and proven allies for a calmer prostate: cooked tomatoes. These are far more than a salad topping. When tomatoes are cooked, whether in a sauce, soup, or roasted, their lycopene content becomes more available to your body. Lycopene is a natural antioxidant that directly targets inflammation in prostate tissue. In a large study published in the International Journal of Cancer, men who ate cooked tomato products at least twice a week had a 28% lower risk of developing prostate cancer. The key is heat and pairing tomatoes with a healthy fat, such as extra virgin olive oil. That combination helps your body absorb lycopene far more efficiently. I often recommend adding a small bowl of tomato-based vegetable soup or a pasta sauce made with fresh tomatoes and olive oil at least 4 to 5 times per week. For many men, this simple habit reduces urinary discomfort and improves flow within a few weeks. Our second food is pumpkin seeds, a compact powerhouse for prostate health. These small, nutty seeds are rich in zinc, a mineral essential for maintaining normal testosterone levels and supporting the structural integrity of prostate tissue. Zinc deficiency is common in older men and can make prostate symptoms worse. Studies show that pumpkin seed oil can significantly reduce symptoms of benign prostatic hyperplasia, including frequent urination at night. I recommend a small handful, about 1 ounce, of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds each day. You can sprinkle them over oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or simply eat them as a snack. The important thing is consistency, because zinc builds up gradually in your system. The third group of foods is cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. These vegetables contain sulforaphane, a natural compound that supports your body's detoxification systems and helps protect prostate cells from damage. Sulforaphane has been shown in laboratory studies to slow the growth of abnormal prostate cells. For best results, steam these vegetables lightly, just enough to keep their bright color and crisp texture, so the beneficial compounds remain intact. Aim for at least 3 servings per week, rotating different cruciferous vegetables for variety and maximum benefit. Our fourth food is fatty fish, such as wild salmon, mackerel, or sardines. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which have a powerful anti-inflammatory effect throughout the body, including the prostate. Chronic inflammation is one of the underlying drivers of prostate enlargement and urinary symptoms. In one clinical trial, men who regularly consumed omega-3 rich fish had a significantly lower risk of aggressive prostate issues. The easiest approach is to include fatty fish in your meals at least 2 to 3 times a week. Grilled, baked, or lightly pan-seared with olive oil are all excellent choices. The fifth and final food is green tea, a beverage that's been linked to prostate health in multiple population studies. Green tea contains catechins, special plant compounds that may slow the growth of prostate cells, reduce inflammation, and improve urinary flow. In one study published in Cancer Prevention Research, men with early prostate issues who drank green tea extract experienced measurable improvements in their symptoms. For daily use, brew your green tea fresh, steeping it for 2 to 3 minutes to release the catechins without making the taste too bitter. 2 to 3 cups per day, ideally before late afternoon, is a safe and effective target. These 5 foods, cooked tomatoes, pumpkin seeds, cruciferous vegetables, fatty fish, and green tea, work best when combined. They don't just reduce swelling, they address the underlying inflammation, hormonal changes, and cellular stress that make the prostate enlarge in the first place. In the next section, I'll share the story of a man who put this exact combination into practice and what happened to him in just 4 weeks. I want to tell you about Michael. He's 67, a retired engineer, and like many men his age, he was quietly fighting a battle he rarely spoke about. For over a year, Michael had been waking up 4, sometimes 5 times a night to urinate. His days were filled with fatigue, a constant dull ache in his lower back, and a nagging worry that something more serious might be developing. But what bothered him most wasn't just the physical discomfort. It was the way this condition slowly chipped away at his confidence. He stopped going out with friends in the evening. He avoided long drives. Even simple moments like watching a movie with his wife were interrupted by urgent trips to the bathroom. When Michael first came to see me, he admitted he'd tried a few things, herbal supplements from the internet, over-the-counter remedies, but nothing lasted. He didn't want surgery, and he was wary of medications after a bad experience with side effects years ago. So we talked. We discussed the science, and I laid out a simple plan: 5 foods every week, no excuses. Cooked tomatoes with olive oil at least 4 times a week. A daily handful of raw pumpkin seeds. 3 servings of cruciferous vegetables, steamed lightly. 2 meals each week with fatty fish. And green tea, 2 cups every afternoon. The first week, Michael kept a journal. He noted how often he woke up at night, what he ate, and how he felt. At first, nothing seemed different. But by the end of the second week, he noticed he was waking only 3 times a night instead of 5. His wife remarked that he seemed more rested in the morning. By week 3, he was down to 2 nighttime trips. His energy during the day started to return. He went for a short hike with his grandson, something he hadn't done in months, and came back smiling. After 4 weeks, Michael reported something that surprised him the most. It wasn't just fewer bathroom trips. It was the sense of control he'd regained. He no longer felt chained to his symptoms. His flow was stronger. The urgency was reduced, and that dull ache nearly gone. When we reviewed his progress together, he told me, "Doctor, I didn't think food could make this much difference at my age. I feel like I've got part of my life back." Michael's story is not a miracle. It's the predictable result of giving the body what it needs to calm inflammation, balance hormones, and improve blood flow to the prostate. And it's why I'm so passionate about sharing these foods with you. But to truly understand why they work and why they can help you too, we need to look at what's happening inside the body when the prostate begins to enlarge. That's what we'll cover next. To understand why these foods can have such a powerful effect, you need to know what's really happening inside the body when the prostate enlarges. Imagine the prostate as a small, soft ring wrapped around a thin garden hose. That hose is your urethra, the tube that carries urine out of the body. Over the years, especially after age 50, the tissue of the prostate can slowly thicken, much like the trunk of a tree growing wider. As it expands, it presses against that hose. The more pressure, the harder it is for urine to flow, and the more strain your bladder has to endure. This condition is called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. It's not cancer, but it can still disrupt your life in exhausting ways. Frequent trips to the bathroom, urgency you can't control, and a constant feeling that you haven't completely emptied your bladder. Now here's the part most men never hear. BPH is driven by a mix of inflammation, hormonal shifts, and changes in blood flow to the pelvic area. Let's break those down. Inflammation is like a slow, smoldering fire in the tissue. Over time, this fire causes swelling, stiffness, and irritation. It can be triggered by poor diet, lack of movement, or even chronic stress. Hormones also play a role, specifically a form of testosterone called DHT. As men age, an enzyme in the body converts more of your testosterone into DHT, and high levels of DHT signal the prostate to grow. Finally, blood flow matters. When circulation to the pelvic area decreases, cells in the prostate receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients, making them weaker and more prone to damage. Now, here's where those 5 foods come in. Cooked tomatoes are rich in lycopene, which works like a fire extinguisher for inflammation. It penetrates the prostate tissue and helps neutralize free radicals that cause cellular damage. Pumpkin seeds provide zinc, a mineral that helps regulate the enzymes controlling DHT production, keeping that growth signal in check. Cruciferous vegetables deliver sulforaphane, a compound that supports the liver's detox systems, helping your body clear out excess hormones and waste that can irritate the prostate. Fatty fish supply omega-3s, which travel through the bloodstream, reducing inflammation and improving the flexibility of blood vessels that feed the prostate. And green tea's catechins not only calm inflammation, they also protect the DNA inside prostate cells from damage. Think of your prostate like a small town that needs regular maintenance. Without it, the roads crack, the power lines fray, and services start to shut down. These foods are like sending in a skilled repair crew, each one tackling a different job. One fixes the wiring, another clears the debris, another repaves the roads. Together, they restore order and keep the town running smoothly. When you combine these foods consistently, you're not just treating symptoms, you're working on the root causes, reducing inflammation, balancing hormones, and restoring healthy blood flow. That's why men like Michael can see results in weeks, not years. And even better, these improvements don't come with the side effects that medications often carry. In the next section, I'm going to share why starting small is the key, and how even one change tomorrow morning can set you on a path to sleeping better, feeling more in control, and reclaiming the comfort you deserve. I know that when you've been living with prostate symptoms for months or even years, it's easy to feel like nothing will change. Maybe you've tried something before and it didn't work. Maybe you've told yourself, this is just how it is at my age. But I want you to hear me clearly. There is no age limit on improvement. The body responds to care at 70 just as it does at 40, if you give it the right tools. I think about Robert, 73 years old. When we first spoke, he said, "Doc, I'm too far gone for this to matter." He was waking up 5 times a night, avoiding travel, and carrying around a constant worry that one day he'd need surgery. But instead of overhauling his entire diet, we agreed he would start with just one change, adding cooked tomatoes with olive oil to his lunch, 4 days a week. That was it. No pressure to be perfect, no long list of rules. 3 weeks later, he told me he was waking only 3 times a night instead of 5. Encouraged, he added pumpkin seeds in the afternoon. A month after that, he was down to twice a night. His energy improved, his mood lifted, and the man who once told me he was too far gone was now telling his friends about the foods that had helped him. The point is, you don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to change every meal, every habit, every detail of your life. Start with one thing. Maybe it's a cup of green tea in the afternoon. Maybe it's steaming broccoli for dinner twice a week. Maybe it's a small handful of pumpkin seeds before bed. One change done consistently is more powerful than 10 changes done for only a week. Think of it like planting a seed. At first, you barely notice anything, but give it water, give it sunlight, and one day you look down and see something alive and growing. That's how the prostate responds to steady, supportive care. It doesn't happen overnight, but with each small step, you're moving away from discomfort and toward freedom. Freedom to sleep, to travel, to laugh without worry, to live without that constant shadow of urgency. So my challenge to you is simple. Choose one food from the list you've learned today and commit to it for the next 7 days. Watch what happens. Pay attention to the subtle shifts. Maybe you sleep a little longer before the first bathroom trip, or you feel more energetic in the afternoon. Those small wins will build on each other, and before you know it, you'll be in a very different place than where you started. In a moment, I'll leave you with one final message, something to remind you that you're not just watching a video, you're joining a community of men who are taking back control of their health. If what you've heard today has given you even a spark of hope, don't let it fade. You've just learned that simple, everyday foods, things you can pick up on your next trip to the market, can help calm an enlarged prostate, improve your sleep, and give you back some of the comfort and confidence you thought you'd lost. But knowledge alone won't change anything. Action will. Start with one step this week. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. And as you do, remember that you are not alone. Thousands of men your age are making the same quiet, determined choice to care for themselves, without shame, without fear, without giving up. We are all walking this path together. If you found something in this video that resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your story in the comments below. Tell me which food you're going to start with. You never know. Your story might be the one that inspires another man to take his first step. And if you know a friend, a brother, or a father who's struggling with the same symptoms, share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear. If you'd like to see more science-backed, practical tips to protect your prostate and your vitality after 60, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss what's coming next. Like the evening habit most men don't realize is quietly making their prostate symptoms worse. Thank you for spending this time with me, and thank you for choosing to invest in your health. No matter where you are starting from, there's a way forward. Your comfort, your sleep, your confidence, they're worth fighting for, and you have more power to change them than you think.